The U.S. Poker Open is back, and the first televised final table is bringing the stars. Jeremy Ausmus, a legend of the PokerGO studio and the 2022 PokerGO Cup champion, is once again the dominant force. But with Sam Soverel, Kristen Foxen, and Brock Wilson hot on his heels, this one is sure to be a banger. The final table of Event 4 at the 2026 U.S. Poker Open begins now. Hello everyone, and a warm welcome to the first of many days of coverage of this 2026 edition of the U.S. Poker Open from where else but inside the PokerGO studio here at Aria Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. Today's event, a $10,000 no-limit hold'em, one of several on the docket before we switch to the 15Ks and then the culminating 25K. Ali Najat alongside Brent Hanks, so pleased to have you with us. The room a little sparse, not in terms of talent, but just sheer number of bodies. 5 players at this final table. 14-time PGT title winner, which is top amongst the all-time records. Sam Soverel there. Kristen Foxen, a legend unto herself, seeking her second U.S. Poker Open title. Love that she's rocking the cap, playing for the home team.
Oh, yeah.
And here's Mr. Cool himself, Jeremy Ausmus, 2024's PGT Player of the Year, and a man who just can't seem to lose a tournament. Here he is, a whopping $4 million plus in front of him, better than 2-to-1 chip lead over Soverel, as Michael Rossitto brings up the rear at just a paltry $210,000 to kick things off. There's a look at the remaining payouts. 10 players made the money, Nate Silver and Brandon Wilson. The most recent to depart, $50,000 roughly. The on-tap payout, $16K, let's call it. The immediate jump if you work your way to the final 4. So with all the formalities out of the way, level 16, 15, 30, and 30 brings us in to today's action, Brent. And boy, you know, sometimes I'll read these opens and I'll ask myself, am I overselling it? Not today. This is top billing on the marquee.
Yeah, you're not overselling anything. By the way, a ton of chips in play. If you look at the blinds, 15, 30K. Osmus, upwards of 130 bigs.
Oh, okay. That was shocking.
Going to be in for quite a battle, and there's
careful, buddy.
A bit of early history looming here at the U.S. Poker Open in 2026. Brock Wilson won event number 1, making the call here against Rossitto.
So the ace-5 has a solid advantage of 14%, as it didn't take long for the shorty
Shoots are live
to work his way into the middle.
Me up, right? Because then we're kind of like tied-ish.
It was just 7 bigs.
Yeah. I'm feeling nervous. Are you nervous?
A little bit.
Okay.
I'm nervous.
450 in the middle. And the ace-5 looking pretty on this board.
Flop.
And now it's looking quite ugly.
Uh-oh.
10 on the turn, connecting with Wilson.
When you bust, okay, so we're on the same page.
I don't like you.
Max pressure on the shoulders of Rossitto to find this double. Is there an ace? Yes, there is!
How have you done that to me all this tournament?
I've been doing this to everybody this whole tournament.
Wow.
Where did that card come from?
The same place the turn came from, my friend.
I'm shocked.
I beat him. I beat his kings earlier too with ace deuce.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, exactly. This is my peak.
Let's not forget, you also had the fucking king jack suited versus queen jack. Or your jack 10.
Deck setup.
Remember, I had king jack.
Yeah,
with the king
I was dead.
diamonds.
I was dead. And I smashed it. Wow.
Brock's still in good spirits despite
That was quite a river.
that river.
All right.
He'll fight on with fewer chips than he had prior to the altercation, but still enough.
I'm sure you are.
Just a couple of bigs north of Rossitto at
I think the
5 1/4.
I think so.
I think she wanted that to happen.
I think so.
Pay jump denial, courtesy of the deck here, as the 60K from Soverel comes courtesy of a queen 10 offsuit. Rossitto on the button.
Boy, you know, the pay jump denial, that really stings on tax day.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, but you're
Yeah.
right. Today, the 15th of
About
April.
what you got.
Yeah.
Word.
450.
You know, and a friendly reminder, though, we're looking at an 11th hour situation to those of you who have been playing poker all year long. You do need to file. You're supposed to claim.
You know, extension.
I'm just saying, they put Wesley Snipes in the clink over some of that tax stuff. Nobody's too big for Uncle Sam.
Did he serve?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, he went in.
Wow.
And by the way, as a poker player going into the clink, of course, not nearly as luxurious as some of the, you know, meals and kind of hotel rooms you might find yourself in. But
yeah,
I don't get it.
You could really collect a lot of commissary credits running a game in there. For what it's worth, you're probably going to be a huge favorite. You know what I mean?
Might be the place to be for some of these guys.
You know, if I could, like, if there was a visitation day and they had I would go. You know, just I don't know though. You don't want to win too much.
Seat
you know
open.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just, you got to be careful. Meanwhile, in the small blind with a suited ace, don't have to be all that careful. Foxen will play it as a limp. Osmus with dust.
I really thought it was.
We'll see a lot of this from Chrissy in these blind-on-blind battles.
You always bust me, so it makes sense.
And she has successfully managed to get Osmus.
She has no choice, really, Ali, just to play low variance up against the chip leader. All those shorter stacks being Rossitto and Wilson.
For all the torture you put me through.
Yeah.
Now you're going to get fifth.
Such a top-tier professional is Chrissy.
It's not like I had that many chips coming in.
Well aware of how to navigate all these spots.
Yeah.
She does play it as a flat and finds bottom pair versus a gut shot and a flush draw for Osmus.
Somehow Osmus smashes it with the 4-deuce off, despite not having a pair.
Yeah, 46% equity with nothing more than 4 high at present.
That's crazy.
Literally my peak.
Osmus finished runner-up in event number 1. He had a 10-1 chip lead up against Brock Wilson. Also, of course, is at this final table.
Wasn't that this short, but yeah.
Critical points on the line for the Golden Eagle.
Another 120 in the middle after Chrissy check calls. And, well, the 3 of clubs just says hello somehow for Jeremy.
Just no problem.
Making it look oh so easy. Now, granted, Foxen's not exactly attached to 5s on a monotone board.
Life's not fair. Osmus, the most beautiful man in poker. Making it look so easy, has all the chips.
I believe Jeremy is spoken for, Brent, you know, as are you, is just in case there was any delusions. And I also don't think he bats from that side.
56 years young, Mr. Osmus. He's dabbling in poetry every night. Ali, not sure if you're aware of this, has a little notebook out at the table. He's always writing. There's, of course, you could look back at day 1 coverage last evening here on our channel.
That's definitely not the future Edgar Allan Poe and definitely not 56 years of age.
Haikus and limericks.
Right. Well, no riddles, no rhymes for Chrissy as she folds to that turn barrel. And boy, did Osmus get away with some naughtiness there. These are the luxuries afforded us, of course, when we are the big boss stack. And we can apply maximum pressure, in particular, to those middling stacks that have to proceed with so much caution. The assignment for Chrissy, unpleasant to be to his direct right.
With these ones, we don't even have to wait for the vlog. We just get to see it.
As we get a look at the chipped in ops. Brought to you by Monkey Tilt, nickels, quarters, and those bumblebees. All present. Not so many of them in front of Rossitto. He won't partake in this one.
You ever watched a Jeremy Ausmus vlog, Ali?
I can't say that I have, but
No?
I don't watch vlogs in general.
Not one, ever?
I don't listen to podcasts, and I don't use AI. So
Wow.
I'm officially that guy.
You and I have so much in common.
You know, I wouldn't go so far as to say that, Brent.
I'm 3 for 3 with you right there.
Right. And by the way, that could be the only 3 out of all of the different.
Well, let's keep going.
Let's not. Osmus, he keeps going up and up. Very much has been the trend on the day for him. Such a decorated resume. The man from Colorado has pivoted a bit to content creation and vlogging, father of 2, and the 9-time PGT title winner. Looking to narrow that gap between himself and all-time title winner Sam Soverel. He's got 28 million plus in career tournament earnings, does Jeremy, 46 years of age.
Do we get the man in the Hall of Fame this year? That's the question for Osmus. Clearly well-deserved.
I'm troubled by this limitation that the Hall creates given the backlog of deserving individuals.
60.
The one a year, which, okay, now Osmus, Hall of Fame hand here. Aces on the button with Foxen willing to open in front of him. And of course, Chrissy lacking durability in the face of a 3-bet should Osmus go that route. And he's under so much suspicion when he does this too, because you're asking yourself, is this a man just taking out the Warhammer?
And he would absolutely be taking out the Warhammer. Notice the sizing. 145K, he goes very small. He's trying to get action. I don't know the types of kit that he would do this with outside of aces with that particular sizing, but...
Well, listen, I don't think it's only aces that he comes with that size. He's got to be balanced.
I would imagine.
But Chrissy smelled something. And just very straightforward release for the Queen Jack. Well, here's how the crew showed up to work today. As we had our photogs out there. Brock Wilson looking like first day of school. Where's the lunch pail? It's the only thing missing from that one. Let's see if we got a different vibe here. Rossitto, he looks like the guy here to deliver cash to someone else with the front papoose pack there. Soverel, just a bottle of water. Another day. Chrissy, she looks like she's happy. Osmus, he's thinking about how to win with 4 deuce. And he made it happen. Oh,
yeah.
So did we pay? Is that?
Love that.
We got
a
budget
sound,
for the
wow.
Eagle sound?
I have a soundboard in here now,
Okay.
Ali, so we'll be hearing quite a few noises.
Well, see, that's the thing. The only noise right now to focus on is the 390 declaration from Rossitto. The fact that Soverel with King 10
Okay, I could tell if it looked like an ace.
No.
is going to be in here. Having asked for all of it and gotten it. And Rossitto took ace-5 against king 10. Will the ace-9 fare as well?
Oh,
it sure doesn't look that way as Soverel slam dunks this flop. The nuts, backdoor hearts
Queen of hearts.
and boats.
Pretty good
That's
one,
what
huh?
Rossitto needs.
Look,
None of the
fellas.
above, and it's a wrap
Good game.
as he draws dead. So short-lived was the optimism for Rossitto, as well as the denial of the pay jump, as he'll collect 5th place money, 49.5 going home
For the big blind?
with
I
Michael.
believe so. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know
it
what
was.
it just showed
The
me
last
at,
time it
but
had Michael at.
Add that
Yeah,
to
I'm
his
pretty sure it
5.3
but
in
yeah,
career
cool.
tournament earnings. The 32-year-old who was born in Bologna,
Yeah, what
Italy,
did you say? What
Ye-
hometown Brooklyn, New
Yeah,
York,
I'm
but
not
lives
sure.
here
I didn't
in
look
Vegas.
Calculating correctly.
No, right now
No.
my
Will no
stash
longer
rate,
be a
I'm not
part
sure. I didn't
Oh,
look.
I
this
don't think
event
so.
for
It was just
final
about
table.
It's the big blind.
So there's a look at his departure, $66,000. The next payout and the next ladder, $23,000 and a tickle. Wilson, of course, tickled to have secured that $16,000 and change. Looking for another helping as he hangs around, inheriting the short stack duties. Osmus staying the course. Foxen has not fared well when she squared off against Jeremy, but Jack 7 suited,
-4.
durable enough, Brent.
Yeah, must defend. You saw the deliberation. There was no consideration of folding. Just, I think, you know, sort of examining the lay of the land, where she's at stack depth-wise compared to Brock Wilson. And what a lovely sight when you've got the Jack 7 of clubs, flush draw with a straight draw.
Yeah, Osmus with the backdoor spades and king high. See how ambitious he gets on this board. Not texture that he's supposed to be fond of.
And a quick check back from Osmus, I believe. No, excuse me. I see it on the
This is,
screen, did not check.
40.
We got ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
How dare we think that Osmus didn't have 100% c-bet frequency here.
See what Chrissy wants to do. Check call or put in a check raise from time to time. Does go with the call.
Do you mean to buy you in? Yeah, right.
She finds the jack on the turn. Not exactly the improvement that we had on our mind, but she'll take it. Not referring to the lead in betting, of course, as she does. Check once more, has to tread lightly with that Wilson 450, along with the pay ladder. Osmus adrift, checking back. Board pairing 3. Shouldn't be a dilemma for Chrissy. Let's see if she wants to come with something blocky or just content to check and decide. Maybe allow Osmus to apply pressure. What do you like here?
Either one. I'm not sure. I sort of like bet your hand for value. You can get called by worse if Osmus did, in fact, somehow have an 8 or a 9, but 175 looked like the size.
Yeah, that's strong. I mean, obviously Osmus can stick us in a blender there. And not impossible for him to have a 3 in his hand, something like ace-3, but nevertheless, Chrissy can exhale as she inhales some of the tokens that she lost to Osmus in the prior couple of exchanges. Talked about just how illustrious Kristen's career has been, closing in on $15 million in career tournament earnings for the 39-year-old Canadian.
You did, right?
A criminology major at Carleton University, believe it or not. Wife of Alex Foxen, of course,
You got
4-time
more than
PGT
me,
title
right?
winner. And wonder whether or not she's smelled any of the armed robberies that
You might have got a
Osmus has
pizza.
been up to.
You know, and we've seen the rise of Chrissy over the last few years. Live poker,
Yeah,
clearly a
I tried it.
phenom, one of the best in the world. It all started online. You forget about the grind.
Yeah.
An ultimate grinder, in fact. She once considered herself playing 1-2 and 2-4 cash games.
I really think you did.
I don't remember.
You know, there was a
was over
point at which
here.
every
you
single
busted
one of
me.
these
Or no,
world
no, that
beaters
wasn't in
that
the
we're going to have the opportunity to observe
can't
throughout the
remember.
course of
Yeah.
this week's
at
worth
the
of
same
U.S.
table
poker
that night?
app action that we're going to be delivering you
So,
day
but
after
maybe
day.
I'm confusing it.
We're in those same streets that many at home find themselves, grinding some super small stakes cash games or tournaments, dailies, things like that. We have to start our journey somewhere. I, for one, really enjoy it when some of the content creators will kind of return to their roots and challenge themselves, you know, to spin up $10 to 10,000 or, you know, various bankroll challenges like that.
You like that?
Yeah,
Yeah. I think you're lying.
I know, I do. I respect it.
Yeah.
I also respect the fact that we need to pay some bills, so why don't we do it right now by talking about the U.S. Poker Open, not here, but online, which is running through April 26th over at Global Poker. Get in on the action with daily tournaments, big guarantees, and a chance to win a Vegas prize package. Don't miss it. It's the U.S. Poker Open online at globalpoker.com.
What is the greatest spin up, by the way, these challenges that you reference, you know, the 10 to 10K or the dollar to is there a story out there?
I think
about
Ferguson
anyone?
did the $1 to 10K. I'm pretty sure, maybe
Wow.
more than one occasion.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
be
going
right.
way back.
You might be
but,
right.
But yeah, I seem to vaguely recall. Someone out there, I'm sure, is going to fact check us. Osmus, by the way, King 6. You just see the luxury of abuse afforded him here, and how about the luxury of 2 pair versus Soverel with a piece he's not going to get away from.
No, certainly not yet, but boy is Osmus making this look easy. Doesn't matter what he's got. Finds a way to connect.
You know, I do feel like there is a lot of, I don't want to say envy, but just kind of people shaking their heads at the frequency with which they seem to think Osmus sun runs. He's a hell of a player, that we know. But things like this do support that rhetoric.
Yeah, although, I don't think Osmus had a tremendous 2025 campaign. It was a struggle for a while for him. You forget about that. We know he was the player of the year, the PGT player of the year in 2024. And obviously we can see here at the U.S. Poker Open, great success early on, but these guys all do endure the downswings.
You know, it's funny because nobody pays attention when you're just busting out of the money repeatedly.
Yeah.
You know, you don't really make the memory bank. As you see Osmus make it 250 into 400. Soverel dressing him down. Does come with the call as the pot grows to 900,000. Consequential. 7 on the river. Backdoor diamonds and a 4-liner out there. This is a really tough one to try to get another street of value out of for Jeremy.
Yeah, he's got to be a little concerned that Soverel's hand could contain an 8. It's 900K out there. What route will he elect to go? There's a world in which we can block. We can go to check mode.
He does go with the ladder, and you see Soverel never a second thought about turning his hand into a bluff. And Jeremy quite relieved, of course, to see a snap check back, and more chips headed his way. Sam says I should have 3-bet. Taking a rip of that Sun Life Organic Smoothie. That's the outpost here at Aria that has become the poker players' go-to healthy destination. Which, of course, means, Brent, you've no idea where it is.
No, no clue. Although I do know that Rick Solomon, I believe, is an owner of Sun Life.
Yeah, I don't know exclusively or not, but he's definitely, he has an interest.
Although if I'm still here, by the time it goes up, I'll be thankful for that.
Players, thank you very much for coming out. Event 5, the second 10K of the U.S. Poker Open. Viewers, you should have your button established, your high cards, your own button. 2 re-entries in this event. Registration will close at about 5 o'clock. Starting at 500 and 1,000, 1,000 ante. Tournament dealers will help you in the air. 5 on 1.
600. 600.
Soverel ripping it over Wilson with the Queen 8. Brock helpless with 10-5. Slides a couple of precious bigs Sam's way.
Now Brock the Brains dipping down to dangerous territory. Just 12 bigs.
Yeah.
You been watching any of Sam Soverel and his
What now?
social media?
See,
No,
are
I'm
you
not
going
going.
to
I'm
the-
not going there. What he's been posting lately?
What's his thing now?
He's been playing a lot of slots.
Well, I know about the slots.
Smashing.
I've been in person with the slot stuff.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, you don't post when you're upside down in the machine 1,000 credits. You know what I mean? You post the jackpots. That's what people
he's
want
out
to see.
there just going bananas.
And by the way, I think putting the spotlight on yourself, which he's done here with a couple of fives over the top of Osmus, well timed, snacking on the open. But, you know, these casinos aren't fond of advantage slot play. They'll mess around and tell you no thank you.
Are you suggesting that he's an advantage slot player?
He's not dull. The man's a sharp.
Yeah. Yeah. I also couldn't help but notice in all of his content,
Yeah.
and I'd like to ask him this.
Yeah.
He wears a rubber glove on one hand.
Thank God you say glove
Yeah.
after the, anyway.
Right.
Florida native is Soverel. Loves the sports betting, but maybe we need to add, well, it's there, high limit slots player. And content streamer, apparently, with 32 million in career earnings. That's just, you know, I say it with this weird,
all in.
that's a surreal amount of earn across a career. And Soverel's career far from over. Let's see if,
I'm not having half my stack in the middle, and it's
Yeah.
disgusting.
I was going to say Wilson's day is going to be over, but he
It's
gets no
happened to me
customers.
before. I'm not letting it happen again.
When you put in half your stack, who did it? Who outplayed
Byron
you?
Kaverman destroyed me.
Didn't
Never.
you do that? Didn't you destroy someone once and they put in Ollie maybe, right? Put in half the stack and you like.
Couldn't have my stack, queen jack of spades, 7 left, comes like ace 10 7 all hearts.
Well, here's some series headlines of this
Couldn't have
U.S.
had my
Poker
stack out
Open.
there.
And he led all.
Cherish
in.
Andrews,
I, like,
Brock
bet
Scal, leading the race
some
for the
stupid
Golden
amount and
Eagle.
shoved, and I was
Wilson
like,
picked up his
what have
5th
I done?
PGT
Nice
title
shake.
already.
Done.
What have I done?
Dang, picking up his first. Osmus, Wilson, and Rossitto, all with a couple of final tables already in 3 events.
And also
This is
keep
the
in
4th,
mind
of
that
course.
Brock Wilson, he won the first PGT major series already in 2026. He took home the PokerGo Cup.
Oh,
Could he go back to back?
I mean,
so good.
to win a couple of majors in a row, that Tiger-esque behavior,
Right.
you know, without rolling your car on its side.
He did the Phil
Well,
Hellmuth.
you know,
Phil
poker
Hellmuth can
comes
never
with
be
a
in
lot
room
of
where
ups
there's a
and
stream
downs and
not find his
crashes.
way
I,
onto the
well,
stream.
I will say,
Never
and a
know.
lot of bad
If Hellmuth was
drivers,
here,
in my
He would find
experience.
a way
Yeah.
to come talk to one of us.
Disproportionate amount of time spent in the seat on the felt and not enough time in that car
I did
seat.
want my
And
sunglasses, but maybe
some
that's
questionable choices can get
No,
made.
I think
in
that's
my
what
recollection.
He wasn't doing it.
Meanwhile,
Soverel.
Soverel asking questions of Osmus once more.
That's
This
not his
time,
MO.
though,
Not
Jeremy
yet.
has ace-jack. And let's see if he feels like taking it up a peg further. He does not. 690 in an inflated one. Soverel was hoping to take it down right there in the blind versus blind battle, and he was hoping for something prettier than queen 10 deuce, all hearts. To be fair, Osmus was as well. He does have a gutter. You know, we saw him
He's
smack a
good
gutter on the turn
promoting himself,
in a
though.
monotone flop situation already against
very
Foxen.
well, actually.
I would imagine he's going to have an opportunity to get a look at the turn right here, right now. It does go check, check.
How many did this have at the start? 33?
Black 6 is
Yeah.
deeply
Yeah.
divorced from this texture.
Not a huge drop off, but
Yeah.
a lot more familiar faces than I
Okay.
would have envisioned when I saw the 5K. Was a lot more newer people,
I
but
couldn't believe it, actually.
yeah, 5K is a good price point, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
10K turbo when everyone fires off like it's nothing, I guess can be
For sure, for sure.
a little intimidating. But if you come in here, it's really like
Yeah,
it's not that. It's like
Yeah.
seems more intimidating than it is.
definitely.
And it goes check, check, allowing
Wow.
Soverel to connect with this 9.
There were going to be a ton of river cards where Soverel absolutely would have had to bet. However, this one in particular, if it goes check from Osmus, I can't imagine we're betting. We finally made a hand.
Oh, look at this, though.
Yeah.
Osmus doesn't feel like he's got any showdown value here, and he'll speak first. Heartless.
This is really well done by Osmus. He's able to force out a hand just like this, but can Soverel see through it? What are we beating? It's all of these heartless holdings like
Wow.
ace jack off. What a call.
Show it.
Good hand. One card he's got.
Nice.
I'll tell you what, Brent.
Guys, do you remember?
That's a bit of a statement call
This is it.
to
Yeah,
Jeremy
this is
and
it.
the rest of
Blinds
this
up,
table.
blinds up.
That's right. This is the hand.
These chips don't come easy.
Now, yeah, Soverel knows what he's doing in position against the chip leader, clearly.
I think he kind of took any one pair hand out of
Well, we
range, and
counted
so
it.
the 9
It's
just serves as a
Yeah.
bluff catcher versus no heart.
Unfortunately, it's the case.
Okay.
Catching an uptick are the blinds, 20, 40, and 40
I
now.
was about to say,
100K
Sam, you
in
keep
orbit,
finding
25K
3-bets
on
in,
average
like,
every
the
hand.
3% frequency 3-bet spots, but now I see why. 9-4. Usually when you do it, though, the guy just has nothing. He had ace-jack.
It's a big hand.
Picked the wrong time, but you just river the 9.
Lucky.
Such a safe board, too, for your Run too good.
I love that, but careful gum flapping with Sammy, because you're going to end up on the losing side of that more often than not.
Yeah, you never really know what Sammy the Pump is going to say. He doesn't care if the cameras are rolling or the lights are on. You want to talk more about his social media account?
Yeah, no, I don't.
All right.
Nor that nickname you've given him. Ace 7 of hearts being given an 85K consideration at this new blind level. Take the blind, sir.
It's probably horrible for you to tell me that's a 3% 3-bet spot, considering you're trying to ladder into third.
First of all, I have no idea if I'm right. I'm just saying things. Secondly, the day you listen to me about anything is it's not a day on earth I think we're going to live, so.
I'd be over there talking about how great the play was. I'm surprised you found that one. Sure.
It's interesting because objectively, it's not good for business to be discussing poker strategy at a final table with the biggest of the pay ladders available, up top $198,000. But when it is discussed like this, as you see the conversation started by Soverel here with ace-queen, and he takes it, I think it's very much a function of looking around and going, hear anything when I talk this stuff. It's a sign of professional and mutual respect.
Well,
Agreed?
I absolutely agree. I was trying to follow what we were just witnessing. We had Foxen, of course, Chrissy's husband, Alex Foxen, wandering around the room.
Delivering sunglass swaps.
Is that what was happening?
By the way, yeah.
Yeah.
She wasn't feeling the last set, so she had the backup pair delivered.
Who do you think studies poker the most of these remaining 4? Really puts in the time. I mean, my immediate answer would be Brock the Brain Wilson.
Oh, but he's playing enough slots that he's not putting in the most time, as we see Foxen limping and getting jammed on. She's got ace-4 suited here. Yeah, just frustratingly forced out of there. The ace-5 was a pip ahead.
Like
I think you were getting
Queen 10
jammed.
suited.
I don't
No,
think you're good to him.
You were going to get, I think, reaggressed if
Felt
you
like
tried
this.
something
Yes,
else.
if you did something else, it was
You were
not
gonna
folding.
shove? Mm.
It was on the table.
It was on the table.
So if you had a good
Maybe it
hand,
wasn't Queen
you
10
chose the
suited.
wrong option.
Yeah.
Sure, you had a huge.
I might have made you fold ace-7 or something.
Well, giddy up. The Brain qualifier.
Under 10 bigs. And, yeah, who wants some?
Oh, Soverel might.
Ace-4 off.
335.
He is second in chips, can well afford to take matters into
I
his
kind
own
of just hit
hands.
skirts. I'm the shortest.
You know, I have dog shit. I just kind of want to try to bluff you.
That's fair.
Thick it, Jeremy.
It's better trying to get me all in pre than play me post, so.
No, you're right. You're right.
There it is.
I think this is a little bit more hand than one would have anticipated
This
when
is
the
your best
declaration
shot.
of, quote, dog shit
King 10
was made.
every time. Someone's got it.
So Brock Wilson at risk. Slight dog of 7% in a 730K pot as he seeks to keep his seat with the ace high. The king 10, rather.
Okay.
Oh,
It
that's
is.
pretty clean for the ace 4.
Never
Yeah.
count Brock out.
This is
I've learned.
all Soverel. He could leave Brock drawing dead on the turn, and that's precisely what he does.
Can I move over now?
No sweat
Please.
Yeah.
for Sam. And nothing further to sweat for Brock Wilson. A fourth place departure, 66K.
Great series so far for Brock. He's got
Oh,
a
yeah.
first and a fourth.
Where would be the best seat?
I appreciate the way Brock just allows the game to
Wherever
come
you
to him
want.
for the most
Yeah?
part, it
Cool.
seems, and accepts
All right.
the results without, you know, getting overly emotional. Just
Okay.
knows that his
You think
time
he's
will come.
a closet tilter?
You never know. I think you got to go over to his house and just check the drywall.
Yeah.
If you see a lot of patches, then perhaps. 66K, there it is officially as you look at the payouts. Brought to you in part by Global Poker. Kristen Foxen inheriting short stack duties, just 23 bigs deep, but more than enough off of which to play some cards here. And
No one
Soverel,
feels
for
that
that matter, Brent, he's
their
deep enough to
cards
play
that
cards
close
as
to
well versus Jeremy. He's not simply going to be shackled as Osmus with 2 casualties on the battlefield already.
Soverel and Osmus have 90% of the chips in play.
Yeah.
And with that elimination of Brock, really things do change for Chrissy. She should become more active. Obviously, a defense here with 9-7 off.
Which is fruitless on the king 6-4 board. Can't say the same for
Wow.
Osmus, as he's found bottom set. Tough to get too excited about it, considering Foxen doesn't rate to be a customer.
Goes with that real small sizing, begging for action. Unfortunately for Osmus, nothing for Chrissy Foxen to want to continue with.
Profits capped. Next payout, by the way, $89,100, and the jump from third to second is $40,000, let's call it. Soverel. Ace on the puck. Suited combo for Jeremy. He will defend. That'll bring the pot to 260 as we had 2 of the flop. King 9-6. Ace high still best. Two quick checks, bringing us to this turn. And look at Soverel proceeding with so much post-flop caution and being rewarded with an ace on the end.
Well, I don't see any drama happening at this point, Ali. Let's, for the first time, say hello to our chat, our live audience that's out there tuning in for this wonderful show, event number 4 of the U.S. Poker Open. We've got the chat open, Ali and I. Thank everybody for tuning in and being a part of this with us.
Osmus no longer a part of this one. Soverel looks for value. And I look for a little more honesty out of you, Brent, because we do not have the chat open. You have the chat open.
Always.
Right. So I'm gonna leave that to you.
You share it with me, though, don't you? You enjoy
every now and again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if you want to enjoy free online poker, look no further than Play Poker Go, where you can grind ring games and run deep in tourneys with no deposits, bots, or gimmicks, just pure authentic poker. Play Poker Go also has special free rolls that run every hour on the half hour. Play now at playpokergo.com.
That was Betty, by the way. She's an ambassador for Play Poker Go.
She's not real.
Don't tell me that.
She's
she's whatever she wants to be to me. In my mind, Betty is real.
I suspect some of the darker corners of AI functionality are where you're going to be focusing your experience with it. As we focus on ace 10-10. Trips for Foxen here.
King 10 has been the hand of this final table. Once again connecting in a big way.
60.
Soverel could peel here. It's just such a tempting board for Chrissy to fire a wide variety of holdings.
Well, you might be onto something, Ali. He's got that Sammy the Pump little grimace. He's going to raise.
Oh, boy. You got to admire the fearlessness, because Soverel had it on display against Osmus on a few occasions. Fortunate against the ace-jack to have taken the pot. Made himself a big hero call on the river. This time, he is not going to fare nearly as well for the time being.
That's why the sizing matters so much from Foxen. Betting 60K, you open up this door. You allow much lesser hands to want to continue, whether it be call or get out of line, which is the case from Soverel in this instance.
Content to flat the extra 110 is Chrissy, and of course without any backdoor equity. One would imagine that Soverel is done storytelling, but you never know. Could be skewing Chrissy more toward ace-x than 10x, in which case he could apply a lot of pressure, but she's got just 535, sub 1 SPR. Cross 2 streets might be an ambitious ask. So he does slow it down.
And I would assume for Chrissy, you're aware that Soverel probably, whenever he's bluffing, has a backdoor flush draw of some sorts, whether it be diamonds, hearts, or spades. Considering another heart has showed up on the turn, she's absolutely thinking, I could be up against that type of hand. But
you never know, though, because a lot of times when we do pick up that equity, you'll see the player barrel again. Not so on this occasion. But I hear you. Facts remain.
It's very much in play, and I just love the check so much on the turn, rather than just saying, okay, now I'm going to deploy. You're trying to play for stacks, and if the back door gets there, so be it. She was hoping to have heard from Soverel once more on this river. Is there a world Soverel ever has ace-x? Pretty unlikely as played. But we'll see. You know, maybe in some way, shape, or form, Soverel could have connected with a pair. And that's what you're trying to get value from. Or even a lesser 10. Essentially goes for all of it.
Uneventful, as only we knew would be the outcome from that point forward. Chrissy just fighting. 27 bigs after that one. Well, her stack grows too. Reminder that this year's U.S. Poker Open is brought to you in part by Splash Sports. Was it Splash Sports that had that big free roll? Or no, it was the big guarantee.
The guarantee, yeah. Oh, yeah, they smashed it. I told you.
Well, how much was it? 10 million?
3 million.
3 million?
Yeah.
This was for the NCAA tournament?
That's right.
At $100 a bracket?
100 a pop.
That's shocking.
You and I were touching on it along the way during the PokerGO Cup, and I believe I was texting you updates every morning.
Yeah,
about
you were.
the-
You were sweating it.
Yeah.
Real hard. I, for one, thought there's no way they were going to make it.
Yeah.
When with hours left, they were hundreds of thousands, if not still $1 million
Ended
short.
up getting like $3.5 million in the prize pool.
Gotta love the late rush. Meanwhile, Foxen looking to get on a rush here. She's got middle pair and a limped one pre. Osmus less than that with Jack high. I said limped one pre, forgive me. This was a click in defense. I don't know why I thought this was BVB.
It's a great exhibit, though, and how Chrissy has adjusted. The shortest stack, you're going to defend wide. You're going to remain busy and active, trying to accumulate. 5-4 off was a qualifier, and now we fight. Pretty big as far as size is concerned out of Osmus, 160. And
Wow.
how about this?
Wagging her finger at what felt like egregiously forceful sizing is Chrissy. Taking it up to 375, and Osmus concedes as suddenly there's a sense of resistance surrounding him.
That was really well done. Chrissy sort of decided, well, the range can probably be just overs on this type of board. I want to deny equity right here, right now. And in the face of resistance, Ali, if Jeremy had moved it in or called, I think she would have found a way out with a 5, believing that it was no good.
That was kind of one of those old school see where I'm at raises.
Right.
And of course, it can get hairy if Osmus does play back at you. She could without having anything whatsoever, but not on that occasion. King Queen suited now.
140? 440.
140 declared.
Love these comments, by the way. Yeah, these hats, by the way. I'm wearing one. The U.S. Poker Open 2026 version. You can see right there on Kristen Foxen. I believe, you know, mods, let me know. Is it available at shop.pokergo.com? I'd like to think these hats are for sale, but go check it out. Shop.pokergo.com. There's the payouts presented by Poker News. Almost 200 dimes up top. Listed casualties. Notable, by the way, Nate Silver. Bowed out. 7th place in this event.
Of 538 fame?
Yeah. Is that still his thing?
I don't believe he's involved any longer.
No.
I think there may have been a divestiture.
Is he a professional poker player now?
You know, he takes the game seriously. I don't know if it's going to be his primary source of income.
Yeah. Well, speaking of primary source of income,
Yeah.
Soverel looking to make bank here. Look at this flop with the 10-deuce of spades.
Yeah, this was a Chrissy button open with the Jack-10. She's got the same open ender Soverel does, but lacking the spade draw. Her jacks are in front, and this turn is uncomplicated, dare I say. After both players checked on the flop. $375K, says Sam. Brought on in part, of course, by the check back from Foxen, just asking questions of whether or not she actually connected with this board.
Now this is an overbet. Only 240 out there, and Soverel goes to 375 with a huge draw. Putting Chrissy in an uncomfortable spot, but she's got too much of a hand to fold.
Board pairing 7 on the end. Swing and a miss for Soverel. And he does not get after it, allowing Chrissy to check back and snack. She's going to be up to roughly $2 million now.
River. Probably the best one.
Closing the gap with Sam. You know, I got to be honest, as we're kind of zoomed in here on the hat, is that do you know who manufactures our wares, our merch? By chance? I mean,
What is the question?
I'm just saying, I think I've seen that hat with a wide array of different things stitched onto the front of it. You know, Cisco team building exercise.
No, it's a golf brand. Hold on. Let me take this off.
Okay. Talk to me now.
85.
Swanee's Golf. Okay. With the run good on the side. All right. Meanwhile, running good is Osmus. Ace, king of clubs. 85K open, just north of the min. Picks up some of these newly minted Chrissy chips as she defends with the 10-8 off. Finds an open ender. Versus top pair.
Yeah, we got action. Watch both of these players go to work. Osmus top pair, top kicker. And then Chrissy with that draw. Future streets are guaranteed.
Just how expensive
175.
will a continued stroll down the sidewalk be? 175,000, says Osmus. Once more,
Yeah.
Chrissy dipping into the check raise well. This time, however, Osmus has more than enough with which to continue. Extra 275, not going to shed ace-king.
This is a fun one. Obviously, Chrissy's raise is great for whenever Osmus hasn't connected. You just get to win the pot with 10 high.
And I think there's a collective perception, rightfully so, from both Foxen and Soverel, that Osmus has ratcheted the VPIP way up.
The really
range is
frustrating part, Ali, for Chrissy is only an if Osmus goes all in. If he just shuts it down and denies that equity, you're sort of sick about your play. And I think Osmus is giving it genuine consideration.
Well, the question he's asking himself is, how often am I being check raised by better than ace-king, in part, but it's also, how best can I extract further value?
Oh, boy.
That is not how you extract further value. That's how you draw dead.
And it's a concerning card for Osmus. He knows that Kristen's range consists of some 10-8. There's a variety of hands that she would be check raising with, and this is one of them. Obviously, you flip it around. Chrissy is aware that Osmus knows, so now it's about sizing. What more can we do? She says 400, I believe.
Now you're really beginning to feel some discomfort with this ace-king, because when you call the check raise, Chrissy knows you've got something legitimate. And for her to barrel again at you with what I think can fairly be assessed as milky sizing, not a number that we expect to just win the pot.
Yeah,
with.
sort of setting up the river jam, and Osmus has to decide this is such a critical street, such a critical spot. If we do elect to call, how are we getting away on the river? What types of cards? Maybe all hearts? Anything that makes this board a little bit more coordinated? You're at this point sort of trying to find a way out. That's not a card that's going to do it. This is going to be a grueling and disgusting decision for Osmus on the river.
Such a dry 3 of spades. And he's unblocking hearts problematically. So many combos. 10-6, 8-6. All that flush draw stuff. And he'll need to keep an eye on with 0.5 SPR coming his way.
You can start to eliminate some hands, right? Like Jack 8, Jack 10. If Chrissy had elected to check raise flop with those types of hands, she's never barreling it off and then effectively being all in on the river. It's just too good of a bluff catcher. So now it's, okay, well, what bluffs do I beat? The 6-8 comes to mind. I believe you mentioned the 10-6, right? All these missed draws, and some of it probably would include various hearts. Otherwise, you're just up against the goods. 2-pair. And this straight that we can see that is 10-8.
This is really not what we were hoping to wind up experiencing with such a strong hand. It's feeling quite a bit weaker in the face of this check raise barrel.
Everything has been so smooth for Osmus thus far. The first blemish, can he find a way out? Would be an incredible laydown. So disciplined. And if anyone can do it, certainly it's Osmus.
When do I owe 2?
This is where that intuition really comes into play in these spots.
He's given it a good long think here, and it's a hallmark of respect. He knows that Foxen would be really willing to risk her tournament life with less than ace-king.
Absolutely.
But he also knows the story being told doesn't allow him to beat any value. I mean, his jaw must be tired at this point because he gave it a big, long chew. But Foxen is going to gulp this near 4 million chip pot.
I don't know if I gave enough of those.
And she is going to emerge on the back end of that one out of nowhere, Brent, as the chip leader.
Yes, she has.
4.
Right to the top of that leaderboard. A role reversal of sorts.
Yep, thank you.
My oh my,
both
can
played
things
great.
happen quickly. Kristen Foxen, our chip leader, event number 4.
That was a phenomenally consequential exchange there. And I'll tell you what, I'm not speculating or suggesting that Jeremy Ausmus is going to come undone. But he is human at the end of the day, And there are occasions in which the phenomenon of we're just smoothly sailing, everything is all good.
And now
then,
we're the short stack.
Right. And kind of keep an eye on him a little bit
Yeah.
to see what sort of response he's going to have.
Well, he'll be all right. You know, it's been there, done that type of mantra for Osmus. And by the way, yes, he's the short stack, but he's damn near got 50 bigs. So much play left.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really overstate the depth of the stacks in this one, three-handed. They got down to 5 so quickly yesterday. And this is in part what's responsible for super deep stack play at this FT. 10-7 deuce board here, top pair versus middle pair. And all of a sudden, Osmus has been set from extract to dispense.
What happened? You know, he run over a black cat on the way?
Well, he's the one that feels like he's getting run over. 75K from Soverel here. This on the back of his min raise open. Just nowhere to go for Jeremy. Call delivered. Wet turn in this 9 of clubs.
Yeah, I love these spots. I really I'm not sure what's best. How does Soverel want to proceed with top pair? King 10. Do we continue betting and just hope to get to showdown whenever you're called on this street? It seems like that's an idea and serves a wonderful purpose. And he does continue to bet despite the texture. He knows that Osmus can absolutely have flushes, have straights. Well, you're just hoping to be up against a hand like this. 7x, maybe even a turn 9 of sorts, a lesser 10. That's a great fold from Osmus.
Yeah, I think that turn card did help detach him from his holding as Soverel takes his turn, snacking on the wounded former chip leader. Well, Thomas Boivin recently joined Octopi Poker, and he's going to head up the Octopi Poker Academy. Coming soon, the two of them will drop their Beyond the Solver series, featuring 15 blueprints to exploit common population markets. To be the first to know when the course drops, visit octopipoker.ai/Boivin and join the list.
Quite a signing for Octopi Poker with Boivin. I don't know what any of that stuff means. 15 blueprints to exploit common population mistakes, but I'm sure it's valuable.
I mean, we're talking about prediction markets, right?
No, I don't think it's a prediction marketplace product, Ali, but, you know.
Okay, I thought maybe.
Believe it's, you know, purely poker going on there. Yeah. But
when he says population markets, I feel like
mistakes,
he's talking about us.
population mistakes.
Oh.
Yeah. Changes things for you, I believe, as far as.
I see markets in the copy.
No, it's I heard it. I looked at the screen. It said it. Yeah. Maybe scratch that out on your sheet and write mistakes.
Imagine. You know, Ron Burgundy moment for yours truly, but markets.
No, that's understandable. It's written there.
It could have also just been population was wrong and prediction was what they were supposed to say.
Right.
Markets was right.
Yes, I get you, man. And prediction markets are kind of hot right now, I believe.
Just the red one.
I hear you.
Go F yourself, San Diego.
What a film.
I mean, just all-time classic.
Yeah.
By the way. All right. Population mistakes. Okay.
We're breaking 7.
Don't worry, I got this. You know.
You're back.
Yeah. By the way, just out of curiosity, and I'm not suggesting any bloodthirst on the back end of that mild.
I know you're pissed. Yeah, you're pissed.
Do we have a name on who it is that whipped this little sheet of paper up? That
Listen,
just,
I would never call out anybody. Ali, that's not my style. I only do that on Twitter.
No, I would be calling them out effectively as I've asked for the name. And
Right.
But I'm not. Anyway.
I believe it was Rob Kuhn who did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't that Keno?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Keno.
Well, Jeremy Ausmus, his Keno game has been rough of late. Came in with such a huge stack now, as we pointed out. The short stack, but again, north of 40 bigs. These guys never going to feel nervous or short, anything like that. And I think this is kind of a rare experience for all three of these players who make it down deep in these PGT events with such regularity to have this many blinds with 3 remaining. King 9 off on the attack. No defense on this occasion as Foxen can't play the 10 deuce off.
Yeah, we might be here a while.
You know, I expect it.
I mean, there's still 100, more than 200 bigs on the table.
I mean, the deck could
Three-handed.
always have violent ideas. That's not impossible,
Right.
but improbable, dare I say. Buck 40 from the suited 1 gapper. Queen jack off here for Osmus.
Yeah, and this role reversal for Chrissy, having taken over the chip lead. Now she is the sheriff, the boss around these parts. Very aggressive with 7-5 suited, out of position, coming right after Osmus.
She's got herself a gut shot and middle pair here. Monotone board texture, more than we can say, of course, for the queen jack. Does not follow through. Osmus happy to check back and finds himself the jack on the turn to wrestle the lead away.
He's good at that. That's a skill that you can't teach it, how to get there.
With that disinterest being displayed on the flop, Foxen decides to do her own bidding, and into the pot of 320 comes 105.
$325.
Well, Osmus is going to shoot it up rather than call. Says, you know what, let's sort of find out the lay of the land.
I'll tell you what, this response from Jeremy tells you what you need to know about whether or not there's any concern to be had for his prospects of winning this one. Plenty of fight left in that dog.
And you just don't see these types of raises often. In fact, for us here in the booth, for the viewers at home, we rarely get a glimpse of this deep stack play, this type of dynamic three-handed, and add that to your arsenal. What looked like might just be a standard call spot, Osmus finds the raise, wins the pot.
Winning is something Osmus is no stranger to. 20 times he's planted his flag at the summit across 144 FTs, 5 consecutive 7-figure earning years, and over 28 million cobbled together across the course of his career.
He's up there on that wall of fame. Those are your PGT players of the year. Osmus back in 2024 accomplished that feat.
Yeah, and you were suggesting 2025, far less kind.
I think he had a pretty rough year.
Yeah. Sports.
Yeah, a lot of leaks out there. Degenerate gambling. Baccarat.
PokerGO. Ace-6 here for Soverel. Foxen's open. Is durable enough to fade this as Sam has picked a poor time to get after Chrissy. 380 the 3-bet.
Now, rather than just calling, he mixes in these 3-bets. And notice the sizing, too. Just huge with ace-6 off.
Playing three-handed poker, though, that ace-jack goes up in value considerably, even against sizing such as this, which Chrissy knows doesn't have to be better than ace-jack 100% of the time, including on this occasion. She flops a Broadway draw and maintains the lead on the queen-high rainbow board.
I think Soverel, too, you know, much like what we can see with the ace-6, he's going to do this with king little as well as queen little. There was a world in which he was considering, can I continue on this type of texture? But when called pre-flop, you start to really narrow the range down. What does Kristen Foxen want to continue with? A lot of medium pocket pairs, maybe any pocket pair, and also hands like this. Ace-jack off, maybe even ace-queen off, ace-10, king-queen. Just over.
So position bet and take it for Foxen, who didn't seize up, unconcerned about Soverel lurking after 3-betting her pre. She works her way up into that Osmus territory that he brought into this final table. 4.06 was the number at the top of the telecast, and Foxen has eclipsed it. Eights now in the small for Soverel. He limps.
Yeah, this is really nice by Soverel, just limping in out of position against the chip leader. He's hoping that Foxen gets after it with all of the dust. This time, though, 7-3 off. She does find the check. Well done.
What she does not find is any help on this ace-10-4 board. Soverel looking at those two over cards. Slips it over. We'll take the turn free of charge. And the eights still in charge, but still uncomfortable perhaps with this board texture. Remember, Soverel did not raise pre-flop. And Chrissy doesn't take a swing at what felt like it might have been a pot available for the snatching. Backdoor hearts and a 4-liner now. Hitting this river. Soverel not hitting the bet button.
Yeah, I don't know how much King X Chrissy has here. I suppose clearly there's some, but no choice but to bet. Soverel knows this, by the way. All the bluffs just have to bet, and well done by Kristen Foxen.
You know, you look that disinterested 3 straight times. I know 7 high is not a winner. Give me that. Queen Jack suited from Sam.
10 seconds.
Dominating Foxen, who calls from the small, something we've not seen a lot of on the day. Not great shape, unbeknownst to her. Her range able to be broadened by virtue of that north of 4 million chip stack. She flops a Broadway draw. Sorry, cut shot straight draw. Far from Broadway. I'm on autopilot in here. Let's see if Soverel is going to pilot a C-bet into this 240. No diamond on board. And no shortage of heart from Sam. Flicks in a hundo. Backdoor spades, of course, also part of the equation for Chrissy. You've seen Chrissy engage in a number of flop raise situations, and this is going to be added to them as she plunks in the 3 1/4, taking the aggressive line and taking more chips from the opposition in a frame that has been incredibly fruitful.
She's dominating right now, Ali. Taking over this thing.
Firing on all cylinders is Kristen Foxen. 4.43 million in front of her. Better than 2-1 chip lead over Soverel, who is neck and neck with Osmus. As Brent and I will step aside ever so briefly, just about 1 minute. We'll be back with more coverage of Event 4 here at the USPO.
Want to play online poker for free? With PokerGO, you get the thrill of authentic poker anytime, anywhere. From quick casual games to action-packed tournaments, PokerGO lets you compete against real players around the globe, all for free. No bots, no gimmicks, just pure poker fun. Hone your skills and enjoy the poker experience you love. Explore PokerGO on web, iOS, and Android. Deal yourself in now.
And welcome back to the final table of Event 4 here at the 2026 U.S. Poker Open. Ali Najad and Brent Hanks.
The new blinds, right? 25.
Here in
25
the
is
booth
blind?
as
Or
the
or
journey
50 is
toward the
big blind.
Golden
Okay.
Eagle
Yeah,
continues
right.
here, but more importantly, for the 3 who remain, the journey toward $198,000. As you see the payouts brought to you by Poker News. That which is on tap, north of 89,000, but that 128.7, if you book your trip to Heads Up, is on the minds of all those who remain, as is this huge upswing for Kristen Foxen, as the blinds have gone to 25, 50, and 50. 29 suited on the puck for her.
You know what I mean?
110.
It's gonna be hard to not pitch over that.
He's just saying to see the reflection is what he's talking about.
Saying not,
'Cause
don't pitch the cards over it. But
someone could potentially see the cards, you know.
I like to sweat them, not just know. Like. Okay.
So we re-rack after Kristen raised and took it down. Dust on the puck. Sidelines Osmus.
No.
Same story for Soverel. Boy, Foxen didn't exactly have
Yeah, everyone.
top
was,
shelf liquor.
What did you say, by the way? Dust
I want to work
on the
for you.
puck?
That's fun.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. The clock.
You're a clever little bastard, aren't you?
You know, I do my thing in here,
You do.
Brent.
Yeah.
You know, in spite of you. You know, you do
It's good
throw
to
a
be
lot of
back,
curveballs
pal.
on the mound, my friend. It's,
Right.
You keep me on my toes in here. It's a bit of role reversal because I, of course, am the imp when I'm beside Nick.
Yes.
And then when I'm beside you, I'm forced to be the adult, which, by the way, I don't particularly want to have to be the adult, right? I like to make the mischief. But you occupy that lane. You displace me in that way. And you guys recently did live high-stakes poker coverage together. I understand you were imbibing during, you know, and I guess if the CEO's pouring the wine while you're at work, you're allowed to take a swig.
Well, when the fellas, you know, out at the table are sending back fancy glasses of wine, I don't think you have a choice. You must drink.
You think that they knew what a waste that was on your palate, where, you know, a PBR would have sufficed?
Well, we did have spark plugs as well, provided by the Wild Stallion, Jimmy D, sending them to the booth.
Spark plugs,
You ever heard of that?
I've not, but it sounds electric and high proof.
Yeah, it's like what an espresso martini mixed with meth.
Oh.
Yeah, it really takes you to the next level.
Lovely. That's not
Yeah.
an actual ingredient, of course.
No, it might be. You know,
Yeah.
the Wild Stallion that's his drink.
It's funny because the way in which you struggled to recall the ingredients suggested maybe that there was some trauma associated with the ingestion.
Shulman did not want to indulge on the spark plug, so I drank his as well.
Oh, boy. Well, Soverel looking to drink up some of this Osmus limp. 9-7 off activating. And Jeremy, of course, with an ace. Didn't do this in order to step aside. So in comes the 125K demanded from Jeremy, and out comes top two, as really Osmus's fortunes have turned.
Yeah, what happened? It was so smooth and easy.
It feels like such a marked shift that you do wonder what happened. The sun was shining, beaming down on him, in fact, and all of a sudden the cloud cover and lack of UV has left his stack eroding to 1.6. Soverel moving to 1.9.
Can't miss this one, Ali. Global Poker. Play the U.S. Poker Open online, running now through April 26. Go check it out at globalpoker.com. No purchase necessary, of course. Huge prizes, guarantees. I believe there's an opportunity to win a Las Vegas prize. Go check it out.
115.
Osmus, ace 10, trying to get back on track here. Oh, and that big little offsuit combo has really become pro catnip of late.
Catnip.
Yeah. I mean, the solvers are responsible for this behavior. This we know.
I don't trust the solver, but I'm probably alone on that island.
All in.
Yeah, and that distrust, of course, is reflected in the lack of results for you, as we see the tidy result for Osmus, who jams and takes it.
You ever have a sneeze that is just right there on the brink, but it won't happen?
You know, I've watched you struggle for the better part of 90 seconds.
Here. It's any second I know it's going to happen. Maybe it will as you take us through this bio.
Yeah, the Octopi Poker stats on Jeremy Ausmus, televised PGT final tables, his average start position, 3.9, average finish, 3.5, so trending in the right direction in terms of performance versus expectation. Chip leader 12% of the time, and his equity in all-in situations, 48%. I really like that last stat, by the way, because it's the one that kind of tells you if somebody is running bad or running really good.
Yeah, and that 48% has a tendency to get it in behind, yet we know about the success that he's had here on the PGT.
He's 0.4 in the plus in terms of finish, but he's minus 2% in terms of EV equity, and combined, those stats do tell you that the guy runs better than, you know, taking nothing away from him.
Octopi, by the way, this is all free. If you want to go check it out at Octopi Poker, you can. You can have access to that. You don't have to be a paying subscriber.
Okay.
They call it the luck factor.
That's
so
exactly right.
You can go player by player, Negreanu, Helmuth,
Right.
Osmus, who we just saw, and you can take a look at, okay, who is actually lucky and who's not.
Well, you know, it's a way to empirically prove, because there's a lot of people that talk a lot of mess about other players, and they're like, that guy just runs good. Oh, that guy, you know, people that say, I'm just running really bad. Well, numbers don't lie.
Right.
So the subjectivity of those debates being stripped out by Octopi as they get their tentacles into the science of luck.
Really an amazing feature. They've ingested every single PGT broadcast final table throughout the period of 2022 up until today to come up with all of that data. And it's not just the PGT, various other tours and venues on display.
It's similar sort of to the manner in which I've ingested just about every snack available in our craft services table today. I mean, truly a trash compactor's worth of calories.
I mean, you're working on the Celsius energy drink. You've had a Lipton iced tea. I saw the Fritos go down the hatch.
Chili
You've got
cheese.
about 10 Reese's peanut butter cups over there.
Right.
Are you?
Did you not? Don't forget the Colby Jack cheese stick.
And a cheese stick. I'm sorry, you've got a second bag of chips on the docket as well. I mean, you're going to be diabetic by the morning.
Yeah. If everything goes according to plan. How else am I going to get that GLP-1 script?
Good for you. By the way, I'm on that right now, about a month in, the
Really?
GLP plus one.
Really?
And this is, you ready for this? I'm being honest.
Well, you know, and I believe
Mallards,
you, but
yeah.
right. Leave it to GLP-1s to take your focus away from a hand that normally leaves you just
well, yeah, it's a blue chill moment for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But anyway, I'm a statistical outlier. I've actually gained weight, a significant amount.
That's
about a month into this GLP plus one. I won't mention the brand.
Are
but
you doing it right?
I hope so.
It's not a
It's
suppository.
the tablets, I'm dissolving them every morning in my mouth.
You know, both players picking up gut shots over here. Brent picking up the pounds on a prescription that's supposed to make the weight just melt off. You know, you're not allowed to all of a sudden double your caloric
I've gained
intake.
4 pounds in a month. I mean,
That's
how is that
shocking.
possible?
I don't even know. Meanwhile, 150 from Foxen.
What is it, like creatine? What is? These aren't protein shakes. They're little tiny tablets.
Yeah. And Soverel just lays it down there as Kristen continues to lay up the W's. And let's flash back to her thoughts on poker, which she shared with us earlier prior to play.
Beauty of poker, or at least for myself, is that I look back at hands that I played yesterday, last week, last month, and there's just so much room to improve constantly, and the game is always changing, right? It's such a unique, amazing game in that way that, you know, I can look back and feel happy about how far I've come, but know that every single day, you know, I could show up and I could play terrible. That's just a possibility. And I could play, you know, my A game that I could find. And yeah, that's what's so cool about poker is just there's no, you know, you could be the best player in the world and you could show up and have a bad day.
Well, her day is far from bad. Just look at the mountain of tokens that she has amassed here. And I think she very much appreciates the opportunity to play deep stack poker, as Soverel's opportunity to continue to participate in this pot is limited by the response from Osmus. Third scoop, and that'll put him in mid-pack and send Sam to 1.6.
Attitude is everything. I don't know whoever said that, but was it Jordan?
I don't think so.
That's the Kristen Foxen mantra. What a wonderful interview.
I need attitude to not be everything, because I confess I can be guilty of having a less than bright attitude in certain situations. You know?
Yeah, but deep down, you know, you've got a big
What's that?
heart.
Thank you, Brent. I appreciate that. I need to hear that right now.
And you've got a big
No. Let's,
ego
I
at
mean,
times,
okay.
Ali. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
These are facts.
And you've got a big hand here for Osmus.
Right. Let's go that direction, as 175 is the open here. Soverel with the suited connector. defends. Keep things kosher, Hanks. 7-6 deuce. Sam will be engaged, courtesy of this open-ender and the backdoor flush draw. Overpair for Osmus. Little barley and hops as one brews. Three-quarter pot C-bet sizing here from Jeremy. This is on the chunkier side. Adequately big to prevent Sam from asking questions.
10 seconds.
So another 600 floods the purse. And another 6 pays a visit to the turn.
Now hold on. Keep your eye on Soverel here. We've seen it time and time again where players often elect to lead when the board pairs, whether they have trips, top pair, even these draws.
Well, he's in position, so let's see if that's going to be an option in terms of firing a barrel in general. Jeremy's range is supposed to want to check this card against the big blind defender, but with this much hand, he comes with another shell.
I do apologize. I thought it was a button big blind scenario. Yeah. And this is interesting, too, from Osmus. He doesn't seem concerned about Soverel having a 6.
So 300 bet called once more, and once more the board pairs. And for Osmus, we really don't love this because there was no backdoor flush draw for Sam to have picked up that would keep him intact. And maybe we've counterfeited a deuce.
I mean, we hate this, Ali. We absolutely hate this. We can see Soverel has 5-4. What are the other draws that he can have? How about 9-8? Well,
we block that.
We block that. This is really disgusting for Osmus.
And by the way, if he does check this card, you have to imagine Soverel is going to contemplate, even with just 0.5 SPR, taking a swing at things.
Oh, I fully expect it if Osmus checks. And you've got to be worried about being up against a 7, let alone a 6 that we saw pair the turn. As played, what does Soverel have when we've got pocket 9s?
I mean, it's that turn call in particular with a pair on board that forces us to consider how many of the straight draws would stick around. Deep levels of interference with 2 9s. Jeremy working his way through multiple time banks before checking.
Yeah.
And now let's see what Soverel cooks up. Does he wave the white flag or does he risk his tournament life? Boy, I don't think that 15K was being measured out for any other reason than to be held back as you see the near all-in jam from the lion-hearted Floridian Sam Soverel. And is Osmus gonna pick up on the scent?
He knows he's got such a bad hand to call with. This is one of those spots, though, you just got to trust the gut. Does call. Incredible by Osmus. And Soverel's almost out. He's, say, 15K.
That's dead man walking in reference to Sam Soverel, and that's a man reanimated in terms of Jeremy Ausmus. 3.8 million. Massive amounts of heart for Sam Soverel and massive quantity of chips working their way back toward Jeremy Ausmus.
That hand was spectacular. Not only from Osmus, but also from Soverel.
I don't know. 8s and 9s are kind of rough there. Yeah. But honestly, like what can you call me with?
I wouldn't even have bluffed 8-9, so it's probably fine.
Yeah. 4, 5. 6.
Soverel, of course, effectively forced all in. And here we go.
Back to back.
$10-8 against 8-5. Things not looking good for Soverel, who was forced into this one. Didn't even have enough to cover his small blind. And he doesn't cover the diamonds either. Just a nickel into the machine will keep Sam Soverel involved in this USPO final table. And there it is, a black 5 for salvation.
Never a doubt, really.
You know, it's a rare quintuple up. And then some for Soverel, but tough to get overly excited about.
Goes into the middle.
Okay, cool.
15 and 15. I feel like you hit that 5, you should get more than that.
I didn't feel like you were gonna go yet.
I should have saved more.
Not like that.
Stay of execution, perhaps, or the first steps toward an epic spin-up. Which one will it be? 6-5 off on the button. He would have loved to have found one that he could jam there, because next hand, once more, Soverel will be forced all in. No force on Foxen, but she does limp the 8-7. Dominating.
Oh no. Maybe the worst fold in history, though.
Didn't work out last time, but here she is versus Osmus, who checks back. And, well, I think this time she's going to fare a little bit better as she finds herself the joint on a 9-high flop. Osmus with just a gutter. Chrissy leads right out. 100 into 150.
Osmus giving it some consideration, having an 8 in hand. He's never folding. Thought about maybe working in some bluffs. And that's a problematic card now for Osmus, giving him an open-ended straight draw provided by that 4 in hand.
Wow, she's reaching and barreling one more time. And if you're in Osmus's shoes, you're kind of wondering, what is it that limped and is suddenly barreling twice at us? The nuts is far from our mind.
And there's this dynamic, too, in play, right? Soverel is about to be all in again the very next hand, which should slow down Osmus in these spots, while also could open the door for Foxen to want to remain extremely aggressive. And that's a very disciplined fold for Osmus.
I think he might have had other ideas absent that pay ladder, which is the most significant thus far on the day, of nearly $40,000. Soverel's 80K really governing choices in that one.
Well, here it is, the all-in moment for Soverel. Forced all in out of the big blind. Chrissy's hand is too bad. That is fantastic news for Soverel. Heads up. fair fight.
9-4 deuce. Failure to connect for Soverel here. Now he finds a nickel. This was the path to getting it done last time. Can he down the top pair of Osmus with a cowboy or another 5? Not this time, as that's the wrong kind of paint for Soverel, who gets painted into the 3rd place corner for $89,100.
Have you ever got heads up in here this deep?
No, actually, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
I mean, blinds are almost up, but.
Yeah.
And the immediate
Yeah,
topic of
crazy.
discussion between Foxen and Osmus. Have you ever got heads up this deep?
A lot of people.
And both of them
I was
say no, and that's just how deep they are. 91 bigs versus 73. Advantage Kristen Foxen as Osmus, the chip leader coming in, locks up $128,700, and they're going to play for a ladder of about $70K when we come back. Stay close. Heads up action when we return.
It is a new time. It is a new chapter. We are here live in the brand new PokerGO campus. No gamble, no future. Hanks, myself, and the face of FS1, Nick Wright, are going to bring to all of you the best poker show, combining poker, combining sports, and sports cards.
Let's get to work.
What the hell is combining all 3 industries to create the best poker show on planet Earth? Thank you.
Thank you.
For what it's worth, you're probably going to be a huge favorite. You know what I mean?
Might be the place to be for some of these guys.
You know, if I could like, if there was a visitation day and they had I would go, you know, just, I don't know though. You don't want to win too much.
Seat
you know
open.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just, you got to be careful. Meanwhile, in the small blind with a suited ace, don't have to be all that careful. Foxen will play it as a limp. Osmus with dust.
I really thought it was.
We'll see a lot of this from
I was
Chrissy in
serious.
these
I was
blind-on-blind battles.
You always bust me, so it makes sense.
And she has
This is the
successfully
only
managed to get
tournament
Osmus.
Ever just
She has
like,
no
ask for
choice,
more.
really, Ali, just
Demolishing me
to
on, like, the
play
river.
low variance up against the chip leader.
This is my
All
comeback.
those shorter stacks being Rossitto and
For all
Wilson.
the torture you put me through.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna get 5th.
Such a
That'd be
top-tier
fun.
professional is
It's
Chrissy.
not like I had that many chips coming in.
Well aware of how to navigate
You're prepared.
all these
right?
spots.
So was
She
I.
does play it as a
just bubbles.
flat and finds bottom pair
Didn't
versus a
3%
gut
hand
shot
raise.
and a flush draw
That's
for
true,
Osmus.
actually.
Somehow
You're always
Osmus
running.
smashes it with the 4 deuce off, despite not having a pair.
Yeah, 46% equity with nothing more than 4 high at present.
Wow, that's crazy.
Literally my peak.
Osmus finished runner-up in event number 1.
I don't have any chips.
He had a 10 to.
We got
a
budget
sound,
for the
well,
Eagle sound?
I have a soundboard in here now,
Okay.
Ali, so we'll be hearing quite a few noises.
Well, see, that's the thing. The only noise right now to focus on is the 390 declaration from Rossitto, the fact that Soverel with
I
King
didn't
10
know.
Okay, I could
cards.
tell if it looked like an ace.
No.
is going to be in here. Having asked for all of it and gotten it. And Rossitto took ace-5 against king 10. Will the ace-9 fare as well?
Oh,
It
wow.
sure doesn't look that way as Soverel slam dunks this flop. The nuts, backdoor hearts
Queen of
and
hearts.
boats.
Pretty good
That's
one,
what
huh?
Rossitto needs.
A lot of
None of the
bells.
above, and it's a wrap
Good game.
as he draws dead. So short-lived was the optimism for Rossitto, as well as the denial of the pay jump, as he'll
is
collect
before the
5th place money,
big blind hand,
49.5 going home
For the big blind?
with
I
Michael.
believe so. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know
he
what
did.
it just showed
The
me
last
at,
time it
but
had Michael at.
Add that
Yeah,
to
I'm
his
pretty
first. Osmus, Wilson, and Rossitto, all with a couple of final tables already in 3 events.
And also
This is
keep
the
in
4th,
mind
of
that
course.
Brock Wilson, he won the first PGT major series already in 2026. He took home the PokerGO Cup.
Oh,
Could he go back to back?
I mean, to win a couple of majors in a row, that Tiger-esque behavior.
Right.
You know, without rolling your car on its side.
He did the Phil
Well,
Hellmuth.
you know, poker
Phil Hellmuth can
comes
never
with
be
a
in
lot
room
of
where
ups
there's
and
a stream
downs and
not find his
crashes.
way onto the stream.
I will say, and a lot of bad
If Hellmuth was
drivers,
here,
in my
he would
experience.
find a way to come talk to one of us.
Disproportionate amount of time spent in the seat on the felt and not enough time in that car seat. And
But maybe
some
that's
questionable choices can get
No,
made.
I think
in
that's
my
what
recollection.
he wasn't doing.
Meanwhile, Soverel asking questions of Osmus once more.
That's
This
not his
time,
MO.
though, Jeremy has ace-jack. Let's see if he feels like taking it up a peg further. He does not. 690 in an inflated one. Soverel was hoping to take it down right there in the blind versus blind battle, and he was hoping for something prettier than Queen 10 deuce, all hearts. To be fair, Osmus was as well. He does have a gutter. You know, we saw him smack a gutter on the turn in a monotone flop situation already against Foxen.
I would imagine he's going to have an opportunity to get a look at the turn right here, right now. It does go check, check.
How many did this have at the start yesterday? 33?
Black 6 is deeply divorced from this texture.
Not a huge drop off, but a lot more familiar faces than I would have envisioned when I saw the 5K. Was a lot more newer people. But
I couldn't believe it, actually.
yeah, 5K is a good price point, I guess. I mean, 10K turbo, when everyone fires off like it's nothing, I guess can be
for sure.
A little intimidating. But if you come in here, it's really like it's not that. It's like seems more intimidating than it is.
And it goes check. And welcome back inside the PokerGO studio, where Heads Up is set to begin here at the 2026 U.S. Poker Open. Event number 4, the 10K No Limit Hold'em, or $198,000, along with points toward the Golden Eagle, are up for grabs. Ali Najad alongside Brent Hanks, but the real twosome, those players right there. Kristen Foxen, Jeremy Ausmus. A heads-up record of 13 and 11 for Chrissy. Over 500. And for Osmus, well, get a load of that. 20 and 19, 39 times he's squared off. Playing slightly north of 500 ball as well. But he's never played ball this deep for all the marbles. $128,700 locked up. There's the mini eagle, the eaglet, if you will.
Yeah, look at that shine on that bird.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Somebody's been buffing. $70,000 heads up, sit and go effectively between the two as we get set to sink our teeth into what I have to imagine is going to be a good bit of poker on the horizon.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued and curious how both of these players will respond given their depths. Often we see a limping strategy employed, but maybe not quite yet given how deep we are.
I think it's a match that's going to be replete with adjustments. Does go check, check here as both players sharing a 7. Advantage Chrissy. She does pick up the lone flush draw along with a gutter. And that is enough to leave her stabbing at this one. Osmus with the wrong side of an open-ender. 6 would, of course, be no good, and he lacks a club as well. Nevertheless, he is going to call. What he's not going to do is improve, but the same story for Foxen, who's 8 high, is best. Doubtful that she'll get to show down. So again, she swings, and this time 2/3 pot. Case closed. So the first blood drawn by Foxen. Nearly $15 million in career tournament earnings for the longtime professional poker player, wife of Alex Foxen. 98 cashes across her career, 15 final tables. This is her 45th PGT cash, her 18th PGT final table, and seeking her 5th title with 3.9 of that aforementioned nearly 15 million coming on the PGT, where she feels very much at home, Brent.
You
So
know,
too does Osmus, of course.
I don't think there's ever been a power couple in poker as dominant as the Foxens.
What about you and Jeff Platt?
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Although he divorced me.
Yeah, you know, it. But the question was not, is there still a power? Just
right.
was there ever?
Was there
Our
ever?
records could be worse.
I just don't think
we've
so.
both won more than we've lost.
Yeah, barely.
But I don't know. Do you know many people who have
I tend to agree.
lost more
Um,
than they've won?
no, but you know, one thing I know, I looked at I was looking at Hindenmob one day and I looked at Helmuth.
Yeah.
His is insane. He's won way more than.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Ace-king suited. This
Raise.
was the specific hand that led to the transfer of power at this FT that catapulted Foxen up into the lead. Chose to check raise an open-ender, got there on the turn, and then got value out of Osmus for the full clip. Meanwhile, 9-8-6. Bad side of the gutter for Foxen as she dug in with her ace. Osmus really doesn't love this texture. Checking back. Above average turn for Jeremy if he's going to fail to find a heart, ace, or king. Chrissy doesn't mind it either. Perhaps she's looking for cheap showdown here with her ace-5. Osmus doing the same. Queen doesn't hit anybody.
Check. Yeah, something like
Full
when he
shutdown.
reached the top 3, his win percentage was like, you know, instead of like 33%, it was like 50 or something. It was insane.
Wow. That is crazy.
Okay. And like, I hypothesize like, I don't know if that's more true recently,
Yeah.
but I assume back then he would just
Yes.
annihilated everyone.
Yeah.
And maybe he still has a great heads-up record. I don't really know,
Yeah,
but
that's crazy.
he was probably just so far ahead of everyone
I'm sure.
a long time ago.
Yeah.
That because I looked after I saw that, I looked at a lot of people. No one was even close to that.
Wow.
It was a complete outlier.
Yeah.
125.
Well, Osmus not close to this ace-queen with his king-4 offsuit, but he will defend for $1.25. The taxation from Foxen's button.
You know, all that talk about Helmuth, he was posting left and right about coming out to play the U.S. Poker Open. He has yet to show up through 4 events.
75.
Yeah, maybe he's waiting for the business end of things. Some 15Ks on the horizon, of course. C-bet and take there for Foxen. There was talk of records, mostly centering around Helmuth, but let's talk U.S. Poker Open numbers, shall we? This is Chrissy's 6th USPO cash.
Okay.
Her 4th USPO final table. Just shy of 400,000 in USPO career earnings as she seeks her 2nd U.S. Poker Open title. And
Sorry.
you see she too, like Jeremy, trending in the right direction.
Raise.
As you saw the Octopi Poker stats on her, 0.7 ahead of where she starts. And chip leading 17% of the time with the exact same all-in equity that Jeremy had at 48%. The luck index, if you will. And, well, we're not lucky enough to know what Foxen has 3-bet to 450,000 right now. Mystery hand for the time being as Osmus's Jack-10 offsuit deliberates.
I actually love when we sort of have a mystery hand
Yeah, it really
on display. Let's figure it out together.
it provides the viewers an opportunity to really understand how little we know about the game.
Right.
Right?
Next to nothing.
2 diamonds, 2 8s, and a queen here. Foxen's cards are revealed, so there goes the mystery. And perhaps there goes the affinity. Let's see what she wants to do in this inflated one. 950 in the middle. Osmus with a diamond and a gutter. Not going to be dislodged by 3 1/4.
And in position, just calling is Osmus. There's a world in which I thought maybe he would take us north. This is a 3-bet pot.
Well, the 4 of clubs taking the board texture south.
We floated with outs. Does he decide he wants to bet here to try and win this pot? I would imagine we'd be setting up 2 barrels, whether we make our hand or not on the river. Showdown value, of course, whenever we hit the jack or the 10. Gin being the 9. I don't know if Chrissy really wants to continue as played.
You know, but the thing is, there are so many draws out there. She unblocks all the jack and 10 and the diamonds. Obviously, the 9 is a below-average card for her to have in her hand, but it's not impossible that Osmus is just peeling on the hunt for an opportunity to try to take this pot. And you don't think there's any better ace high that's behaving this way, and that's an important consideration. So she does call the 6 1/4 here, and she is in the lead. 2.85 million chip pot. And that is a very arid river.
It is, and this is now the concern. We have ace high. Are we prepared to call it off? There's also a world in which Osmus just waves the white flag and says, okay, you know, you probably have enough queen X to where you're never folding that. We'll see. He knows he cannot win this hand, but he does give up. Does not go for it, and he will be frustrated to see that he was called down by ace-9 high. Tremendous from Kristen Foxen. Now 75% of the chips in play.
And she has earned every one of them. Well, jump into free online poker with PokerGO, where you can grind ring games and run deep in tournaments. No deposits, no bots, no gimmicks, just pure authentic poker, along with special free rolls that run every hour on the half hour. What are you waiting for? Play now at playpokergo.com, available on web, iOS, and Android.
Yeah, get in there. Play with Martha, who you saw on your screen. She's in there playing right now.
I thought you called her a different name.
Oh, that was Betty earlier. No, this one was Martha.
You know, the twinsies? Is that what's going on?
Oh, what? Do they look alike?
I guess you can just name them whatever you want, and they're not going to be offended because they're not real, Brent. It's just a cartoon.
Well, cartoons don't have names?
Static.
You're not familiar with bugs?
It's a static cartoon as well, at that.
Maybe go try it out in the game, see if she moves.
She's kind of a one-dimensional character. I think you've really assigned a bit of an egregious affinity to Martha or Betty or whoever.
PlayPokerGo.com.
Well, play
Betty
bottom pair.
And Martha.
That's Osmus's situation here, but behind the jack deuce of Foxen, who made it 150 pre and now follows through for a $120 post. Osmus peeling, not finding any help on the turn. Very innocent looking deuce, which just smacks Foxen who was already in the lead but is comforted to have jacks up.
Nothing innocent about this mallard on the turn. Unleash the fury. Betting pot. $600
full pot on the turn, and you got to credit Foxen for finding such a large sizing over here and recognizing that it would pique Jeremy's interest if he shared a naked jack, or for that matter an ace, which didn't 3-bet pre.
Oh.
And on the end, Osmus binks the 8. I'm not sure how much 8x she's going to give her man on the end, but she does check because she knows that she's chopping against the jack. The ace is likely to call, and worst card in the deck declared.
I got a fan. Did you bet on? Oh, you bet against her. I was going to say, normally you're just talking shit to me. I don't know.
Young Jay Beck's out there in the field. I believe he's got a
actively rooting against
prop
you,
bet
right?
against
I know.
Kristen Foxen.
It's okay. It's actually, he's done it the whole tournament, and look where it's got me. So it's been very good luck.
That's a good point.
They had a last longer in this event for 500, and there may be another qualifier for final table and then winner of the event. So Becker might be getting torched if Chrissy can find the W here today.
Well, she's trending in the wrong direction after that 8-ball in the corner pocket for Osmus, who finds an ace-queen in a nice spot here against ace-5. Just a flat call of the extra 90 from Chrissy. 2 diamonds and 2 kings hit the flop. That ace of diamonds coming into focus for Chrissy. Into 360, quarter pot sizing, not an accident. Foxen making the call. Has to be expected. Two-tone texture arriving on this turn. Osmus does unblock both of the flush draws. Content to check back and then make his mind up on the river if he were to face any lean from Foxen, which with this 6 of clubs on the end, I'm not sure he's going to receive. Just ace-5 enough hand to look for cheap showdown here. Don't need to turn it into a bluff.
I think same can be said for Osmus and ace-queen as well. Just
Yep,
happy
he
to
agrees.
get the showdown.
And he's going to be happy to continue to narrow the gap between himself and Foxen.
Still more than 80 bigs for Foxen and more than 50 for Osmus. All playing for that beautiful Golden Eagle trophy. Here at event number 4.
This, by the way, is Jeremy Ausmus's 12th U.S. Poker Open cash of his career, his 8th USPO final table, just shy of $1 million of his career earnings coming courtesy of this specific major. Queen 9-3 board. Gut shot for Jeremy. Slips it over to what has become top pair.
60.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Jeremy with the check 3X here. A lot of this gut shot business mixes itself in as a check raise. It's well concealed when it gets there, given this behavior.
And can just win.
Yeah.
Oftentimes on these types of spots, but
not going to happen this time, of course.
It's not the case. Also nice to have the 8 of clubs in hand.
Yeah, kind of interfering with some of the continuing holdings for Kristen. The ace of clubs hits the turn. Jeremy's got the only flush draw, but does he have the inclination to barrel once more into this now inflated 540? Not impossible for Kristen to have peeled with some ace highs. He knows it. And so he slips it. Or a jib-op got right into that eagle armpit there. That was
yeah,
that was something.
Beautiful smelling bird. Did you know that?
The
Due to
eagle?
all of their water ins and outs. Yeah.
Hang on a sec. What are you, sniffing eagles?
Just a lovely scent.
You know what? I'm going to call. I'm just, I'm looking over and I'm just putting a read on this factoid, and I'm going to call. I don't think eagles smell great.
I'll tell you what. You let me know when you sniff an eagle.
I'm not getting close.
You tell me what you discovered.
I'm not getting close enough to sniff an eagle, man. That's a bird of prey. The raptor, with the talons. As you see Foxen flexing her talons to the tune of 175, despite getting check raised on the flop, and the dreaded double check raise greets her in response as Osmus is very much getting after this pot.
This is so strong, coming with the double check raise as a bluff. Look at Alex Foxen keeping an eye on this one. It brought him to his feet.
By the way, I got to say, looking across at Chrissy and then seeing Alex right there on the rail, I'm a little bit less inclined to make moves like this. Don't want to piss him off.
And Osmus finds a way.
Jack of clubs on the end, giving him this flush. I don't know how proud of the 8 of clubs he's going to be. King 10 and 9 of clubs all beat him. And for her to call 2 check raises, Brent, certainly one of those 3 cards could be lurking.
It's also, it's the worst card in the deck for Chrissy. Those types of hands that Osmus could have been semi-bluffing with, they all fill in. My question is, if Osmus doesn't bet, does Chrissy decide to turn that Queen 6 of diamonds into a bluff? We are in uncharted territories. This hand as played. There's the check. Now, how will Foxen respond?
I mean,
let's see.
1.8 million in the middle, 2.3 effective what they're playing for. How much showdown does she really believe Queen 6 has here after being double check raised? It feels like something in the 2-pair plus territory that hates this 4th club from my vantage point if I'm Chrissy. And if that's the case, one could see her get after this. Oh, she shuts it down. And that's going to let Osmus show her a real dirty beat. You see Foxen looking over as if to say, what?
Did you hear Becker clapping?
Yeah. By the way, careful, J-Bex, you know, identifying yourself with silence-breaking applause like that, because Foxen can quite easily echolocate and then subsequently decapitate.
You get 2 lucky rivers. There you go. No more.
About dead even now.
I'm big now. Yeah.
You had a good hand on the on I had King 8 too.
I did. I had Jack 2.
You had Jack Deuce.
Yeah. It's a 2-pair.
Turn 2-pair.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of
No
crazy.
way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It could have been a fun one.
Gotta appreciate the class with which
150.
Kristen took that one on the chin.
Yeah, she did point out, you know, 2 very lucky rivers, and that is spot on, of course. Osmus exactly where he started the day, right around 4.1, 4.2 million. And we're off.
2 aces, 2 diamonds, and a 9, which hits Foxen. She was dominated pre, but well out in front post. King of diamonds in focus for the pre-flop raiser, Jeremy. 75. Again with these downsized C-bets, high frequency. Seven is uncomplicated for Foxen. Checking once more after check calling the 75. Osmus's appetite suppressed on the turn. 3rd diamond arriving on the end, though. Do you like coming with something to kind of avoid Osmus making us uncomfortable on this river, or just content to check and induce?
Could be a blocker sizing scenario. Also value, obviously, too. You know, Osmus has the kind of hand that might feel compelled to call with King High. Kristen can be peeling on that type of flop texture quite wide.
By the way, that King High gets that much more curious when it's only 90.
Yeah, this is the ultimate block sizing, and might be perfect sizing to get looked up by King High. Given the posture and the demeanor, there was no raise coming. We know that, and there is the wonderful win for Foxen does get called.
And that's, of course, a far smaller pot than the one which left her down in this even stack territory before
some fun
picking
fun
up
hands.
that W.
Yeah.
Some good content. It's kind of it is crazy how deep we are.
Yeah, I know.
Wild.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun for a change.
Yeah, it is actually. I agree. Yeah, you can play a hand and not be out.
Yeah,
It's
and,
like,
or just
you know,
like shoving every hand,
yes.
you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Are these the classiest people in poker, heads up. I mean, Chrissy and Osmus, that so polite, so kind.
Yeah, not a couple of personalities that were accustomed to lacking etiquette ever.
Right. I just, that's dawning on me right now. I mean, these are absolute ambassadors for the game. Wow.
Fair point. Limp pot pre, Foxen.
Usually we've got a scumbag up there, you know, and that's kind of our flavor.
Yeah, instead we have them in the booth.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yep. Wouldn't have it any other way, pal.
Well, look at Osmus trying to have his way.
Yeah.
With second pair, and the check raise to 300,000 just sheds Chrissy immediately. So fruitful aggression for Jeremy there with his gutter. God of Disco, by the way, co-signing on your observation.
Yeah, they really are the nicest people in poker.
Basically.
Such a rare occasion.
And by the way, you know, proof that this isn't one of those nice guys finish last. I do believe that there are those who feel like you need more of an edge, you know, at the table, that this is war and requires, you know, a lack maybe of such warmth. But
oh, no, they want to kill each other on the felt. Don't, you know, that's there.
I don't think they want to kill each other. I think they're just going to play their A game.
Yeah.
Against one another. Yeah. As you see Foxen with an A hand, able to catch Osmus slipping there. Who did you square off with heads up when you won your World Series of Poker bracelet?
Jake Baisley.
Jake Baisley.
Yep.
That's a name that I'm not familiar with.
You don't remember Baze? Big online guy?
No.
Played a bunch live. Still out there grinding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he just like permanently scarred by losing to you?
Likely, yeah, because I got it in bad.
Yeah, story checks out.
Yep.
Osmus. The Razor. No, sorry, Foxen rather.
Had an obnoxious rail too, which probably didn't make it, you know.
Yeah, they didn't
any
love
easier.
you. Couple of quick checks on the Queen 9-4 board where Jeremy outflopped. Foxen with no interaction on the flop, but now the wrong side of a gutter. Oh, and in comes that gutter on the turn after 2 streets of checking. Board really just getting uglier and uglier for Osmus. Not so worried about a king as played. In comes a hunt for value, 200 into the 360. And 4's not at all curious. Wow, that was ASMR hydration there for Osmus fans. I mean, really, can we dial back the sensitivity on the mic? I mean, it's right there at the gullet, though. So, I get it. And I also get the limp with Jack Deuce off.
You know, I personally enjoy it.
Do you? You know, you actually have a broad range of things that you might find enjoyable that I think most would not.
Well,
9s.
That makes 2 of us.
Versus an open-ender. You know what? Fair. Fair, Brent.
60.
Third pot barrel. from Jeremy now. Foxen making the call, and on the turn, Jeremy finds the jack in inconvenient fashion, of course, given the four-liner. Does check it back. King on the end.
See if Chrissy decides to turn the 9 into a bluff. Yeah, she does. This is not designed for value. You're trying to fold out any of the 10x, Jack X type holdings. Even various chops. This is really well done by Chrissy. Small pot, but meaningful.
Unconcerned about a king looking for value, perhaps. That jack goes up. In Osmus's mind. And given the 2 checks prior to that point, he does bluff catch. And Foxen knows that the 9 doesn't fare well in the face of a call there.
Great call by the most beautiful man in poker, Jeremy Ausmus, the designer human himself.
Yes, you've gone thoroughly on record now as assigning him this.
Talk to me, Ali.
Well, rep the game in style with the PokerGO shop. Official apparel from your favorite shows, including High Stakes Poker and No Gamble, No Future, which, of course, I had a very brief stint hosting before being pink-slipped live on air by the man here in the booth with me for a limited time. We'll give you 15% off your purchases with code USPO26. Visit shop.pokergo.com and elevate your poker wardrobe. Uh-oh.
Yeah, this
Osmus with 9s has taken us to 300,000. After Foxen chose to limp her 6s, she does not get cute. Flatting and finding herself middle set on a rainbow board against the overpair, Brent. 660 in there.
This can absolutely escalate for stacks. Certainly on the flop is potential. Turn, depending on texture. This money can get in. Huge cooler heads up. Look how dry that texture is. Osmus with the overpair.
Yeah, look how meaty the sizing is. Chrissy loves to see it. And against 600, with so much hand, perhaps we have designs on a flat and let barrels continue to come our way.
Yeah, it certainly could be the case. They are oh so deep as well, where you want to mix in a variety of semi-bluffs with your premiums. There's a world in which she finds raise. It is just call.
All her yellow chips put forth. Another 1.2 into the kitty. A 10 on the board now. Osmus with the gutter, and not a lot of concern about a 10 being a part of Foxen's calling range on the flop. Maybe 10-8 specifically, given our interference with the 9s, but let us see how Jeremy feels about things with the pot at almost 1.9.
900.
Well, he comes with just shy of half now.
This is really fascinating with Osmus taking this line. Now betting 900, clearly for value. You're really sick if you hear the magic words. All in.
you know, as played, it really does feel like the overpairs are a big part of Osmus's range. Foxen is going to flat. She's not worried about pocket sevens, pocket tens so much as she is trying to figure out what the best way to maximize value with this holding is. Pot grows to 3.6. And the river is masonry. A big bricky 3 of clubs. 4-5 just not supposed to be involved, especially after a 10 hits the turn.
Yeah, it's not, although it is sort of there, right? Especially
in heart form.
The 4-5 of hearts, and heads up, you are playing a wider range of hands. I just am uncertain. Yeah, he's going for it.
Jeremy jams. Is he going to get beaten into the pot? Yes, he is.
That's it.
Foxen covers, and it's a wrap. Just like that.
Good game.
Thank you.
GG's
Well
exchanged.
It's not too soon. I could say you're going to double me up at a 5.
Wow.
GG.
And event 4 is in the books just like that.
I mean, you might still actually be the leader.
I could be, yeah. I might be.
Because
Brock got 4th.
Runner-up is Osmus.
What have you?
I just had a min cash.
You had a min cash?
In the 5K.
He takes the 128 and change.
Yeah.
But the
I
Lions
should
share.
shove that river. It's kind of thin.
I mean,
That
I'd
goes
have
to
a lot
Chrissy.
of folds.
You have like 7 and 6 and a deuce a lot, right?
Yeah. I mean, if I show up with a 10, hello, that would be tough. Thank you.
$198,000 going her way. Unofficial photographer Chino Ream stepping into the shooting line there. Okay. Memorializing the moment for Kristen Foxen, and what a sweet moment it was. Found the cooler and finds a victory here with nearly $200,000 attached to it, along with, of course, the Mini Eagle for this victory. And boy, it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
As Osmus fought super hard, he always does. But today would not be his day, Brent.
Yeah, well, listen, you see the leaderboard here. They were just touching on it, Chrissy and Jeremy. Osmus is the series leader with that runner-up finish. Just ahead of Brock Wilson, but today the storyline belongs to Kristen Foxen, winner of event number 4.
And no doubt, Alex quite proud as the post-mortem discussion ensues between the two of them, and plenty of U.S. Poker Open will ensue in the coming days. Tomorrow it'll be event number 5, but event number 4, this one's in the books. We certainly hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. On behalf of our entire crew here in Las Vegas and my partner in the booth, Brent Hanks, this is Ali Najad saying so long, and we'll see you tomorrow for more from the 2026 U.S. Poker Open.